Hi, everyone. Welcome to Live with Janome. I'm Ann Hine. I'll be with you in just a moment. I'm just getting my comments up. So let me see where they are at, and we can go from there. Let's see here. I know it's on here somewhere, so let me try something else. Go there. Here we go. All right. I think I have it. All right. I'm going to put the camera on now and see if there's a few people out there. Let's get this out of the way. There we go. Hi, everyone. So welcome to Live with Janome. I'm Ann Hine, embroidery software specialist for Janome America. And no, it's not Christmas. I'm just doing a few little elf things for Janome, so I have some Christmas background up there at the moment. I just want to finish up a couple things, and then I will be starting the put my regular backdrop back on there. So welcome everybody. Let's see, I have my comments up. So if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If there's an issue and you can't hear me, type me a message. There we go. So we're going to talk today about the new Artistic Digitizer V2. And, you know, it's been in the news a while here, but maybe you haven't heard. Janome has a new upgrade for the software. We're normally at 1.7 with a build of 8946. But we do have a new offer for the version 2. So 2.0 has some brand new features. Oh, they're wonderful. I really love what they've added. And I'll be going over and making projects of those over the next few weeks as we go along. So you get to see more about that. And I have done several reviews on the different areas as well. Now, the update is available, just to recover really quickly. For those who purchased or installed their software for the first time from January 1, 2025, until now. When you load your software, you'll get a little window at some point that says you can get the update for free to 2.0. Now, with our CM17, that's the junior program, and there is a junior 2.0. If you have full program and you just purchased the 1.7, when you load that, it will give you the same window and you'll get the full 2.0. And right now, through the end of September, Janome USA is having a special on the update for the V2 for 1.7 full going to the V2. So if you're in the United States, you can take part of that. I haven't heard of any other specials so far. When I hear of them, I can post them to our Janome Artistic Digitizer community page, so you'll be able to see it there. Or if you hear about it, pop me a note and I can post it up on there as well. And I know it's been a little bit back ordered. I think it's coming in now slowly. It is an actual product. It comes in a little like jewel case, and I think there's a USB in there with a possible link that you use. So it'll be easy to update your software to the V2. For those who are getting it free, if you haven't seen that little pop-up, sometimes what happens is your Windows updates or your computer updates haven't been done. You want to turn everything off, restart your computer, and then relaunch Artistic Digitizer, and then it should update to give you that update window. All right, let me see what's happening over here. Everybody's pretty quiet over there. And today, we're going to talk about space fill and floral fill. And what I love about these two, and I made a little project, and you can make this little project if you want or something similar. I made a zip pouch, and you're all going, oh, Ann made a zip pouch, right? Yeah, of course. But this one, I did not make this one in the hoop of my machine. I mean, I did the embroidery there, but I did insert the zipper and sew it all together on a machine instead of in the software. I didn't make the outlines and stuff in there. So it is possible to do zip pouches outside the hoop of your machine. I prefer it in the machine, but it was fun. I have a little video to show you how I did the zipper covers up here on the end, these little parts. And then I did add these little tabs and they're just folded over and stitched and stuck in there before you stitch them. So this is shape fill in my big letter A with my polka dots, because you know I love polka dots. And then on the back side, I have, I'm going to bring it in close. This is floral fill. And it's different than the floral vine that we have. Floral vine, when it goes into your shape, it like makes a ton of vines. This is a little bit, I think, not more user friendly, but I like the look of this a lot better. I can get bigger flowers. I don't have to have as many vines. I don't have to do as much tweaking to get it where I want it to be. And I'm going to show you some tips on doing that. And of course, I've done some other fun things with the shape fill, so that you can see that. I really like that. I originally was going to take one of those shopping totes, and I was going to do a great big design on there, and I'll show you kind of the things I was working on. But then I decided to go with a little bit of a zip pouch, and it is a lined zip pouch. Many of you know how to put in a zipper and do a zip pouch, either in the software, create one. I do have my I think all my zip pouch videos are on YouTube. If you look up my name, you'll find them there. And also they should be over on the Janome Sewing Machines YouTube channel as well. So you can go there and search my name, either of those places, and they should come up. As a lot of our stuff was deleted off our Facebook page. That was something that Facebook did, all the old videos. So I am going through some of them and I'm going to try to bring them all and put them back on YouTube, because then they should stay there for a while. It is a labor-intensive project. Sometimes they go really quick, and then other times you get a glitch and it takes you a long time to get a video or two going. So I'm working through that. So there may be some more changes over there. Oops. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to the software and show you some things you can do with the shape fill and the floral fill. So let me do that. Let's see here. If I go here. There we go. All right. So what I want to show you first is I did these kind of fun things here. I was trying to figure out, this is when I was doing the shopping tote. So I'm going to open this up and show you a little bit of this. That is a letter A in there. Okay. There, so you can see the letter A. I actually drew the shape and then filled it with the vine. And then for the outside part, I created a square and filled it with the dots on there. And I did it two different ways. I'll go back and show you. This is the other, whoops, go back here. This is the other one. I did it the opposite way, dots in the middle and then floral around the outside. But I didn't really like that, and honestly, if you'd like to do that, I'll show you really quick. If you go to a new page, and if you're new to Artistic Digitizer, please go to your welcome page and set your machine and your most favorite hoop here, and then choose your fabric for the color here. And I like none and normal. That means no color and no fabric behind the hair, and the normal part of the embroidery category. That's what I like. So we're going to go here to this new page. I'm going to use the drop down here to change my hoop, and that's the only option I have right now because there's nothing in here. And I'm going to choose this hoop. Now, if you use the option over on the side here, this option comes up, and to change the hoop, you would click in the hoop, not here. The plus means adding a hoop. Plus means add. Okay. Then you turn off your hoop icon. And so the first thing I did is I made a big square using my shapes rectangle, and I just left click and drag like that. And there it is. And then I can delete the inside because I don't need it. So down here, this is selected. So I can just click on the X and it takes it away and leaves just this part here. And then to do the A, I just went in here to digitize outline shape, and I started, I think, down here like this, and just kind of made my A. There we go. And so I have my two outlines. Now this A, I'm going to make it a different color. So I'm going to click on the pencil and I'm going to make it blue and click here to blue. So it should be, well, did it make both of them blue now? Yeah, it did. Okay, well, that's okay. So there we go. And to fill those, let's say I wanted to fill the inside with a polka dot. Again, I could go to my shapes and I could do a like shift and command or whatever to get a nice round circle there. And I'm going to make that a solid color in there. And I just need to, let's make it a little smaller. I need to have it selected, do shift, select my A, right click, and come down here to array and create fill from shapes. And it's in there. Now this one, if you look over in my properties, is shape fit. It looks pretty good, but they're all the same size, right? And if I click in here, down the bottom, I'll see space fill. And then, oh, isn't that cool? I like that. Now my outline, I could make a satin stitch out of my outline if I wanted to, so that's an option. And I have lots of items here that I can move. I can change the max size of my my dots. Maybe I want really big ones, or maybe I want to kind of, ooh, that's kind of nice. And I love the little sliders, that's new. The minimum size, the spacing. If I want a lot of spacing, I could move the slider up and down. The scale, how many I have in there based on the size. Ooh, that's looking nice. Let me click off of this so we can see that. Now that looks pretty good. You could really see the A in there if you wanted to do that. If this was something that could be rotated and look different, you could rotate with it here, the percentage or item rotation on there. So that's the space fill there. Now to do the floral on the outer part, and I'm going to delete this little dot out here because I don't need it. I brought in a floral going up to my tools, to clip art library, insert clip art, and I really like the one that is, I think it's Floral 48. Let me see and see if it went there. Let's go back here to my thing. Floral 48, why did you not go there? Let's see, it's one of these flowers here. It's a simple flower. This one here, Floral 48, there we go. Oh, I spelled it wrong, that's why I couldn't find it. Helps if you know how to spell. All right, and I'm going to click insert, and then I could just click and drag my little flower over here, and then I want to take a look at it and see it came in, when I select this, it came in as a step fill. I can change that to a satin fill. There we go. And if I had any things I needed to change in the satin, I could go ahead and do that there. Now I can just select my flower, hit shift and click on the square. So just the square is selected. Again, I'll right click and I'll go to array, create fill from shapes. And that is, oh, it's not cutting through on this one. Okay, I'll have to fix that. But I'm going to show you the vine. We'll move my A off of there. And then under shape fill, we're going to go to floral vine. I think I need to take this and go down here and change, let's make that a satin. And I think I really need this to be, filled. Here we go. So remove overlaps. I want to say always. And then I want to take this one and say remove overlaps always. Let's see if that works. Oh, it's not working, but that's okay. We'll figure that out. But anyways, let me move my A off of here so we can work with that floral, because I want to show you something with the floral. And I'm going to go back. I think I needed to do the outside part first. Can you see, like, there's one stem here and it's filled my whole area. If I click on stitch flow, I can add little dots here and it will change where and add more to that floral. I could do it over here in the parameters, but I can also do it with the dots. So let me get rid of this for a minute because that's not exactly what we wanted. And I'm going to go back. I think I need to create my square. I'm just going to make a quick square, and then I'm going to get my text, and I like this one, so I'm going to type in, I'm just going to type a big A and select it, and then make it really big, like that. There we go. And then I'm going to select everything and come up here to shaping and trim. And that should be, I should be able to leave this inside part. Let me see what's happening. There we go. All right. So now when I fill this area and I get my little flower, let's see if this works. Now you can use other little designs as well. You don't have to go to your clip art library. I just happen to like these. They're easy to find. There's quite a few in there. Let's make that a satin. I'm going to select the inside. Let's see here. Or maybe the outside. There we go. Let's see if it'll go outside. And array. There we go. And you can see it's around my A now. And then I'm going to come back over here and do floral vine. So there we go. Now my other A had a little opening here so I could get floral up in there. So you could do a split outline here and fix that. But see how it's not very interesting? That's where you would use your stitch flow. And it really can add to the amount of flowers and leaves that are in there and giving you a few more vines. And you just kind of set it in different spots and it fills in for you. I think that's really cool on that. Let me see if we can get this to split right here. I'm going to see if I can split the outline. Or actually, let me do it. Oops. Let me see if I can do it this way a little bit better. Well, that works. Yeah, it won't let me cut that with the knife. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to select my A and go to Edit Nodes. And I have to make my A, I have to convert my A, I think, yep. To get some nodes, there we go. And then I can split the outline here. And I could split outline here. And then I could join this part to, I gotta figure out which one is over there, that part there. Join nodes. Let's join these two. I don't think there's another one under, whoops, under there. Let's see if these will join. There we go. And I don't know what this little extra is. Well, it just opened everything up on there. But anyways, when you draw it in the way I did before, you get that little, you can make that little gap. And, or you can find a letter that has that gap. And you can bring, like I did here, like here, the vine came around inside here, or the other one, the vine, I was able to bring it up inside here. So if I was using my stitch flow, I could add another dot in here and try to get a few more things happening up in that part, anywhere I need to add some. So that's something to remember, the stitch flow tool over here, or you can use the parameters that are over here. You have a lot of things, flower spacing, leaf size, all of that is right here. The width of your stem, all of that is on the side here. You guys are very quiet today, so hopefully I haven't put you to sleep. All right, one more thing I want to show you. I was working with these puzzle pieces here. Let me see if I have my thing up kind of large. Here we go. So these are actually were an SVG file that I brought in. And then I did some fun stuff with it. So let me open this up here. And I filled each of these with the puzzle piece it was made from, using the outside shape. So just quickly, and I did use, let me open this one. All right, so if this is the one I was going to use, what I did was I copy and pasted the same one and pulled it aside, and then I made it 25%. You can make it any size you want. Then I selected my piece along with the tiny piece, right click, array, fill from shapes, and it filled it in. And of course, then I went over here to space fill and it did that. And then of course I can change my sizing here, the scale, I get more pieces. But one of the other things I did is I made a copy paste, I brought it over here, I shrunk it down to 25%. And then when I did that, I realized over here I have gradient. So I can change the gradient of this and make it more like this. You see that? The gradient there. So I could take the gradient and then I can copy paste this. I'm going to make it yellow. And then the gradient here, I'm going to make it plus 500. And it has a little mixture to it. See how that is? Now, because I did that, I really need to click off of this and select both of them. And I can see that right here. If I didn't click off, I would only be copying one of those back into my purple over here. So let me go find my purple. I'm going to go back here. Here it is. So I'm going to select that, select here, right click array. There we go. I'm going to bring this to the center so we can see. And I'm going to delete these over here so we don't have the pink back there. There we go. And then I need to change it to space fill. Isn't that cool? Look at that. And then, of course, you can play with the size. And then maybe the spacing. Now, this is the one you could do some rotating with. If you want to rotate it, you can make them all line up this way or make them all kind of cattywampus, or you can change it there. Change your spacing, adds more in there. So there's a lot you can work with right there. I know, I love all those options. And it's just a click to do it. I sort of got carried away when I was playing with this too, because I'm like, oh, I can make this shape and I can do that shape. And then I wanted to use the gradient with it. Now, when you get done, you do have the outer border. So if you wanted to make the outer border, let's say this turquoise, you could come down here into outline, and in outline you also have I have a lot of things open. I can see what's happening here. All right, we're going to have to hold up here a minute. Let me see if I may have to restart. But over in here, when I change this to satin, I have random. So I could use that random at the same time, which makes it like edges of grass on there. I'm actually going to close my software and reopen it because it's misbehaving here. And then hopefully these, because I can't get these to close. And I should have, this is a lot of work for it, and I have a lot of them open. So I'm going to go ahead and close my software. And I may do it from, let me do it from, let me if I can do it here. I hate when it does this little window here and I can't close it. Oh, close window. There we go. Go back here. Come on. Let me close my window. right, hang on. I'm gonna try. Will it go into Finder? All right, well, oh, now we're really stuck. All right, let me go back to me for a minute, and then we'll come back to that in just a bit. So in building this here, I found my letter and then I filled it in. And this is actually an XPG font number 52. So if you're looking for this shape, you'll find it under 52. And then I filled it with my spots. And then I just used the other letters and I filled those and gave them a decorative fill, like a pattern fill. And on the outline, I did I think I did oval bean on there because I really love that bean stitch. And then of course on the back, let me see if can you see those little hearts in there? All right, I went into the clip art library or insert symbol and I found a little heart in there and I made it very tiny and red, and then I brought it in and I changed out the centers. That flower didn't have a center, so I changed out the centers in there with that. So let me see what's happening back here. It is still stuck. All right, so what I did is I stitched this one here and then I stitched my one on the back side. And when you're working with the floral fill or even the space fill, when you get to a certain point, you can separate objects. And this is where it was handy with those red hearts. I put those in at the end because I wanted to size them on the flowers differently. And because I thought about it after I got everything done, and I put those in. And then when you separate two objects, you can group your colors to stitch all the, like on this one, there's two colors of the vine. So I had a dark vine, and then I had another vine and the leaf on there, and then the yellow flowers, and then the red at the end. So I was able to reorganize that. Sometimes with the floral too, you have to be careful. Sometimes there are things that are behind the vine, so that's why they're separated, but you can move them forward, or you could leave them behind there. So that works there. Now, let me see where our timing is. Oh, we're doing okay on time, even though my little beach ball is still spinning over there. So that's sort of a rule of thumb, and I sort of didn't follow it. I should have been closing those windows. This is it's much like when you use Paint Stitch and Sketch. It's using a lot of your computer. Plus, I'm streaming at the same time, so that's using a bit of my computer as well. So that's why it's having a little hiccup over there, but that's okay. And you know what? If I come down here, maybe I can close it I could do a force close right there. There we go. It did close, and I could open it again. And let's see what happens when it opens again. Okay, let me get me in the front here. Okay, so that's how I did that. Do you guys want to see how I did my zipper? I don't know if many of you have done zippers outside of doing them in the hoop. I can show you that. I have a little video. Let me show the video. Because now, first of all, let me ask this question before we go. Do you understand the tools that are in Shape Fill and Floral Fill? I'll wait a minute to see if there's no comments over here for questions. So it's pretty self-explanatory. They're all right over there. I love the click and try. You know what I mean? I'm one to just put my cursor over there. What does this do? What is it? Oh, okay. And then just sometimes you have to remember what number you started on, or you just kind of play with it. And I just love that feel of it for myself. Let me I did do a little video of the, let me see if I can find it here, of the putting in the zipper. Let's see, I think it's down here. Here we go. All right, I'm going to see if this will go up. There we go. Let me move it off to the side a little bit. So, and I'm going to, it actually will run, so I don't want it to run just yet. So, when you're doing a zipper outside of the hoop of your machine, you're doing it with your sewing machine. I like to lay my zipper out, and then I'll cut off the end that has the stopper, the bottom stopper. And then I'll take two pieces of fabric and I sandwich that in there, and I'll sew across the end of that. and then fold it to the back. So that's like the bottom one here. It's folded back. And then I'll measure my zipper, and I'm going to get this started so it'll go to the next slide. I'll measure my zipper per the opening that I want. So this one I just measured 6 inches. That's how much I want it open here and here. So I know that's much space I need. And I drew a line, and then I'll align my fabrics, as you see here, and the top one up here. I'll align my fabrics with that line, one underneath and one on top. Make sure your zipper is open. And if you're using older zippers, I have a lot of old zippers. Make sure you're opening and closing them a few times before you use them. Because I do have a project that I did with a zipper and the tab broke off. And I do have another one where the zipper like opened and then I don't know, it just disintegrated. So you want to make sure you're checking that. I use a lot of older zippers, but there's those craft zippers are out there now. There's tons of those. So then you do sew the fabric on the other end of this, and then you flip it out. You can trim your zipper away that's in here. And then I do like to stitch at either end. I'll trim those covers to be in line with my zipper, and then cut off the ends on there. And so let me see if this is going to move on for me. All right, on the next part, this is where we start putting our zipper in. And typically I lay down like the front. This is the front of the bag here. This is a different project, but it's the same thing. Lay the front down, put your zipper on there, and then lay your lining to the zipper. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll sew my zipper in first, one of these right here before I do the lining, because then I can flip it over and I can sew on the same line for my lining. I like to see my zipper up here when I'm sewing with my foot, so I can keep my, know where if it's close enough or too close. Sometimes when I lay the lining on and try to do all 3 of these layers, I can't see, but you can do all 3. Once you get that the one side done, you can move the lining out of the way. I just top stitch the front, and then I don't top stitch the lining to the front, and then I did the other part of the zipper. And so now I have the front and the back together with the zipper in the middle. At that point, I'm going to open my zipper. So you can see here, I have it, the 2 front pieces, the front and back are over here. The lining is over here. And I make sure you open your zipper, because you're going to sew around all of this and leave a channel right over here and turn it through the lining, through the zipper to get it out over here. And one of the things that I like to do, it's a little thick here, but make sure when your zippers come together, the front and back, when you're right here, let me get it up there. When you're right here, align those up. See how mine are amazingly in line? When you fold it together, you want to pinch those together. And then as you come up to those in either direction, you might need, and a little picture here, this is the button reed or the hump jumper, so that you can, or even if you use the A foot and you push a little button on it to get up over that, the whole bulk that's right on this part here. Once you go all the way around, turn it, and then stuff your lining back inside, and then take your finger and pop. I have to find out which way my camera is going here. Let's see, over here, this side. Okay, and then you want to put your finger in here and pop these corners out. Sometimes I go into the lining and push a little bit more to get them to come up and lay really flat. I did add some little extra pieces here so that I could pull it out from there. And of course, I rounded the bottom of my bag. Let me get this out of the way for us. I rounded the bottom of this. There you go. And you don't have to do that, but you can. When I first created this in the software, let me pull up my 2 pieces because my software just came back really quick, and I'll show you what it looks like in the software. So let me close this one. Don't save that. And let me close this one and don't save that. And let me open up my USB stick. And I'll open this one. Oh, the other one. I want the other one. The floral. Here we go. So I did create, before I started, my shape was a square that I rounded the corners. And then when I got done, I just did a split outline here. So my shape looked like this. I went into my shapes tool really quick, and then I drew my rectangle. Up here, I put my roundedness, which is, I usually do about 40%. So now I have nice round corners. I went and got that flower right here. Whoops, clip art library. Oops, Floral 48, where are you? There we are. And then I just selected both of these, right click, array, create fill, create floral, and then I will change the colors of that afterwards. But then you just use your stitch flow to get it to fill wherever you want. This is a really small square, so it's looking a little odd. There we go, but I could make it a little bit bigger. And see, as I make my square bigger, it populates itself. So if you decide, isn't that cool? I think that's just really cool. All right. All right, everybody, I'm going to put the camera back on because we're a little bit over time here. Remember I mentioned about when you get done, you can do separate to objects over here. And then you see how my objects, I have all my green, all my yellow, my little hearts. And this one is all together. When I separate this one, I can group everything together over here. So I can keep them all nice in that way. And then if I don't want that outline, I can take it away or leave it in there if I don't want the outline. All right, so let's go back to the camera. Let me see if there's any questions over here. No, it's very quiet. All right. So there you go. Try something small. Make a little shape. You could make a heart. I use that puzzle piece. You don't have to stick with a circle, a square, things like that. Think outside the box a little bit. That's why I was drawing things on there as well, because I thought, oh, what if I drew different kind of blobby shapes, and I could put like floral fill in one, shape fill in another. Maybe I could use the shape fit, some of the other ones that we have under there too, to show different things in there. So you can create like a whole piece of artwork using the different types of fills. If you leave the outlines in there, you can select them and turn them, like I did for my A. I selected this outline and made it a satin so that it would show. If you don't want to have that in there, you can delete it and just have your shapes there. Okay. All right, everyone, I will be back next week for more fun with either Artistic Digitizer or some beyond basic things that I'm going to be going over as well. Hopefully, if you do have any questions from this, post them below. I'll come back and answer them. Of course, you can always ask questions over on the Janome Artistic Digitizer community page. We changed our page up a little bit, the header of it, so it looks a little different, but you'll see it there. And we are still doing 1.7 and 2.0. So we cover both of those as well. All right, everyone, have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend. It's almost the weekend for me. And I'll see you again. Bye for now.